The federal budget bill passed by the U.S. House is raising a lot of concerns here in Arkansas. Advocates say it could lead to major cuts in food and health assistance programs across the state. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joins us now in the studio with more on what's at stake and what state leaders are saying about all this. Lauren?
Yeah, Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families released this map recently showing the potential impact of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. These maps illustrate the projected changes in Medicaid and SNAP funding by county. Supporters of the bill argue it will streamline spending and encourage self-sufficiency, while those against it warn of the potential harm to vulnerable populations.
We want to remind them that as a lower income state, the impacts of these type of changes are going to have more impact here in our state.
Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families say new federal legislation could significantly reduce Medicaid and SNAP benefits in Arkansas.
We tried to look at the overall cuts that we're expecting nationwide and to look at those cuts and how they would look in Arkansas. And we broke that down by county.
According to the group's new analysis, they say as many as 177,000 Arkansans could lose Medicaid coverage, and nearly 60,000 may lose access to food assistance if the Senate passes the bill in its current form.
There's no charitable program that can make up for the loss of a program like our SNAP food stamp program. That is the most effective program our nation has ever put into place to reduce hunger.
Laura Kellums, the Northwest Arkansas director, says rural areas could be hit the hardest. The House bill passed with support from Arkansas's 3rd Congressional District Congressman Steve Womack, who says it protects SNAP and Medicaid for those who truly need it, while cutting waste and lowering taxes. Senator John Bozeman echoed that, saying the plan will eliminate fraud and better serve working and middle-class families. And saying, quote, the Senate continues to work to finalize these and other policies to responsibly steward taxpayer dollars and make Arkansas and our country strong, safe, and more prosperous. Kellum says she's encouraging the delegation to remember their state when voting.
These cuts are being considered in exchange for tax cuts that low-income families wouldn't see the benefit from.
We also reached out to Governor Sanders' office, who said, quote, Governor Sanders stands with the vast majority of Americans in support of common sense changes to Medicaid, like work requirements, and is implementing a Medicaid work requirement in Arkansas for able-bodied working age adults to move recipients off the path of government dependency and onto the path of prosperity.
All right, so Lauren, this bill passed through the House last month. What's next?
Yeah, nothing on this is final just yet. The Senate is set to vote on this One Big Beautiful Bill by the end of the week, and President Trump is urging lawmakers to stay in Washington until it's done.
All right, Lauren, thanks. Appreciate that. New tonight, an inmate at the Sebastian County Jail has died while being held for immigration authorities. Juan Manuel Salazar Lopez was booked in May on DWI charges and placed on an ICE hold. The jail's inmate roster show he died last Friday. Spokesperson confirmed his death to 5 News today, but said any additional details will come from Arkansas State Police. State Police tell us the Criminal Investigation Division is handling the case, but so far they have not released any more details. We'll, of course, keep following this story and bring you updates as we learn more. New tonight at 10, the Native American tribe that has been fighting to keep a state prison from being built in Franklin County now says it has even more evidence the land is sacred land.
We were pretty well advanced, and we were probably the better farmers in the area. However, it was back in the day and age when you would bury people on your own property.
The Chikamaga Nation over the weekend shared evidence that various Indian tribes occupied the land for thousands of years, dating back to 8000 BC. Well, now Chief Justin Flanagan says the tribe has evidence of possible Chikamaga burial sites within the boundaries of the new prison.
Given the fact that there were farmsteads there in the day and age when they would have buried their own people on their land, I would say that increases the likelihood of burial grounds to be present and furthers the need for study.
Chief Flanagan maintains the evidence is that not only did the Chikamaga tribe exist on that land, but others as well.
We have rock art within walking distance of the prison site. We have in the form of red ochre cave art. We have etching in ceremonial geoglyphs. Once again, just within walking distance, 2 separate sites.
He says it's now up to the State Historic Preservation Program to contact him about this new burial information.
I'm hoping that they include us on the list of tribes to be consulted on archaeological matters when there are state projects being undertaken. Nobody is contacting us. They're just leaving us completely in the dark. We're the tribe they don't want to exist.
Now, we did reach out to the Department of Corrections, who said a preliminary cultural survey has been completed. They say a more extensive study will be conducted after a contract has been approved. Developing today in Washington County, a jury found a former deputy not guilty of manslaughter. Stephen Grindstaff was acquitted after jurors heard 2 days of testimony. The verdict coming nearly 2 years after Grindstaff was first charged, following a 2023 traffic stop that ended in the deadly shooting of Scotty Stacy. Among those who took the stand in the trial was an Arkansas State Police agent. He wrote the probable cause affidavit and admitted that when he testified, he'd wished he'd written his statement that day a bit different. After the verdict came down, we spoke with Grindstaff's attorney about the police agent's testimony.
He's a good agent. I think he was in a very difficult situation, but to his credit, when we walked him through during the cross-examination, he answered his questions truthfully like I knew he would. I knew that if when we got to trial, he would tell the true story. He would be able to say, yes, that's not exactly how it happened. You heard him at the end of his testimony, even today, say, in hindsight, I wish I had written that a little bit differently.
5 News reporter Kayla Davis was in the courtroom for the whole trial. You can find her full report on all the testimony on our website at 5newsonline.com and the free 5 News app. President Trump is now in Europe for this week's NATO summit, set for 2 days of meetings with allies. And as Erica Brown explains, peace talks between Israel and Iran expected to take center stage.
President Trump was greeted by the King and Queen of the Netherlands Tuesday evening, all part of the NATO summit the president is attending this week in The Hague. The summit comes just 1 day after President Trump announced a ceasefire in the war between Israel and Iran. On Tuesday morning, as the president departed for the Netherlands, the ceasefire appeared to be on shaky ground. The president, using profanity, was visibly frustrated.
We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
The Israeli-Iranian conflict and the president's decision to dispatch targeted bombers to Iran's nuclear sites over the weekend are expected to be among the topics of discussion at the 2-day summit, along with Russia's war with Ukraine. Ahead of his arrival in Europe, the president posted a screenshot of a message from NATO's Secretary General congratulating him for decisive action in Iran, saying it was something no one else dared to do.
Here on Capitol Hill, the classified briefings that were intended to provide members of Congress with details about the U.S. strikes on Iran were delayed, frustrating Democrats. And we're told the Senate briefing has been pushed to Thursday so the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense can participate.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer slammed the delay.
There is a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening. What are they afraid of?
The White House says the delay was due to new circumstances following positive developments in the Middle East. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
Developing tonight as well, Andrew Cuomo has conceded the race to be the next mayor of New York City after voters there cast primary ballots today. Former New York governor announced his plans to end his campaign just about an hour ago after returns began coming in favoring fellow Democrat candidate Zoran Mamdani, who is now expected to move on to the general election. Current Mayor Eric Adams will be on the ballot as well as an independent.